Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. This is the start of a brand new trilogy, something that those of us who've been around since the beginning never thought would happen. There's some people out there who regret that it ever happened, but what are you going to do about people like that who you cannot make happy because they have their own headcanon, and when you go against what's in their brains that they've, again, have no control over when it comes to the people who make the movies, Lucasfilm, they're going to get upset no matter what they do. So that's all we're going to talk about, people like that. It's okay to have, whether you liked it or hated it or whatever else, Star Wars is a big thing to a lot of people. Star Wars is a huge thing to me. I've been around for every iteration. I was there when it started. I was there when the special editions came out. I was there when the prequels came out, and now the sequels and all the little things in between, like Solo and Rogue One. And I hope to be here for another, I don't know, 100 years or so. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We're a good 40 plus years into this, 44 years into this. Let's go another 60 some. I want to be here for every iteration. When they reboot the entire thing in VR, beyond VR, like injected into our brains 100 years from now. And it'll be lifelike, holographic recreations of the original actors with any little tiny mistakes or bloopers and full continuity. You can jump into any era. It'll be a holodeck, Star Trek style. Star Wars in Star Trek. That's the way it'll be. Anyway, that's all. Yeah. This is all about Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. And yeah, this is. I can't. I can be critical of Star Wars, but I can't not like Star Wars. Any moment I get to spend in that galaxy is a beautiful thing to me. It's in my blood. It's, like I said, when I grew up with it. So. Yes, people say that yeah, there's a lot of. It's almost like a photocopy of the original, but with updated effects and slightly different characters. Yeah, there's callbacks to just about everything in here. Of course, every Star Wars film usually always has to have a creature cantina scene, a scene where you go through. There has to be apparently a Death Star, not in all of them, but too many of them. Is my only criticism, my main criticism. There's a trio, in this play, originally it was Han, Leia, Luke. In this case, it's Rey, Finn, Poe, and they've filled different roles this time around. There's droids. There are, if there's a chasm, somebody needs to fall into it. Yeah, there's a mentor that has to die in order to drive the heroes to a cataclysmic final battle. Of course, space battles. The Millennium Falcon has to fail at one point or another, and suddenly work. There's just so much. There's just so much. Yes, it calls back. And J.J. Abrams, who directed this, is a Star Wars fan. Unlike, he was never really as much of a Star Trek fan when he started doing the Star Trek films. He's still producing them, by the way. I think a new one's coming out in 2023. But that's Star Trek. Star Wars, I don't know. We're getting our next one. We're getting the Squadron. The X-Wing pilots one. I forgot the name already. Anyway, this movie, yes, pulls on our nostalgia strings hard. It's every little bit you can see calling back to the things we love so much as kids, and sort of reinterprets them for the modern age, for a whole new generation of fans. I remember the first time I saw BB-8 in person. We were at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, 2015, and we all, we thought it was just a digital effect. And when he rolled out on stage, we're like, that's freaking real. We knew that wasn't a projection, it wasn't on a screen, it was right there in front of us, on the stage right in front of us, and it was mind-blowing. it's it was kind of unsettling. But it was a beautiful thing. Um, yeah, I mean, it brings back so many different things. It has a solid cast, obviously, with our original characters. We have Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and a little bit of Mark Hamill without a single line. R2 and 3PO and Chewbacca. And it's the original three. One of my big regrets. I would hope that it's. I mean, not hope, but I imagine it's a lot of people's big regret that we didn't see the whole crew back together again, at least in a flashback scene or something. We just didn't get to see them together, which is really unfortunate. We had Han and Leia together, Luke off on his own, as we learn in the film. By the way, I'm going to spoil a bunch of stuff in this, as if you haven't already seen it. And if you had no interest in seeing it, odds are you're not watching this video. So you're just here to go, is this guy a jerk that just craps all over Star Wars, or is this a guy who loves Star Wars? I'm the latter. So we got a great new cast. Oscar Isaac as Poe, Daisy Ridley as Rey, John Boyega as Finn, as the three core. We got Domhnall Gleeson as Hux. We got Andy Serkis as Snoke. Let's see who else. Oh, of course, Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. Good grief! I mean, everybody's great, but seriously, Kylo Ren is awesome, and he gets even better as the movies go on. So it's kind of freaking amazing. Oh, and new characters like Maz Kanata. I love Maz Kanata because I also like Lupita Nyong'o. So I've kind of, it's. But Maz Kanata, there's so much story to be told. One of the great things about this, the new trilogy, is that yes, it's not just a Lucasfilm thing; it's a Disney thing. Um, Everything is a story. Every little thing that shows up in the background, we know this from Star Wars for over the years. Every creature in that cantina now has a name, even if it wasn't spoken aloud. They have a backstory, and yeah, a lot of it isn't canon anymore, and some things are made more official with the return of certain characters. Like, Boba Fett's history is explored in the Clone Wars, and everybody always speculated whether he survived the Sarlacc and Return of the Jedi. We know he did now because of the Mandalorian. They could have a story featuring Hammerheads, Momo Nadon's history. He could show up as a major character in season 3 of Mandalorian, for all we know. And anything that was written beforehand doesn't matter. It gets rewritten, and he now has a history. That's officially canon and controlled, and it makes sense. It fits into the bigger narrative, or it's not even connected to the bigger narrative of the core saga. It doesn't matter. It's a great thing. Stories could be made out of just about anything, and that's why I like Maz Kanata, because she's been running a place on the planet. My brain is not working today. Anyway, she's been running her joint for over 1,000 years. She's been around longer than Yoda. So I'm thinking, there's a lot of stories to be told around Maz Kanata. And she's run into Yoda. You know that. She said she's seen the Sith. She's seen the Jedi rise and fall. She's seen all of that. She was around through all the stories that we have seen in the saga. And she only shows up now in Episode 7. She has a tiny part in Last Jedi, and just a slightly bigger part in Rise of Skywalker. I want to see more stories with her. I mean, that's one of the great things about this sort of a refresh, a renewal of the saga, the characters we know. And yeah, you know what? A lot of people are upset because a certain major character dies in this. He was always going to die. Han Solo. Harrison Ford was always going to die. Well, not Harrison. Han was always going to die, because Harrison was never going to really come back to this movie franchise at all. He had no interest in it, unless somebody made him a promise, and probably enough money, that it made him a promise that, hey, you know what? shoot the movie, do some promo, and you're out. You're done. He did, yes, he did show up in Rise of Skywalker, but he didn't have to do any promo stuff. He didn't do it. He just, fly planes and get high. That's all he needs to do. Hang out with Callista Flockhart and then a dog or two probably. But in this, he gets to die. He wanted to die in Return of the Jedi, and he finally gets his wish. And the purpose of this trilogy is to end the story of the original characters, because otherwise, if they didn't end them in this trilogy, their kind of stories would go on forever. People would always say, "Hey, what happened to Luke after this movie? What happened to Leia after this movie? Could we see more from them?" And then you get all this mess we've had before, where somebody has to write a novel, or they write a comic book or whatever that tells a story that, yes, it has to be approved by the story team and everything else, but you don't really want the finale of Han, Leia, or Luke to be in a book, a novel that you're probably not going to read, unless you're one of the hardcores, But Han was going to die in this film, Luke was going to die in the next, and Leia was going to die in the third one. No matter what. It doesn't matter who was directing the film, it's the way it was going to be, because we were introduced to them in the films, they were going to die in the films. And they weren't going to... Some people complained that, oh man, these guys are kind of... why don't we have a more upbeat, heroic story? And Luke's a recluse, a hermit, and he's run away. He doesn't use the Force, as we find out in Last Jedi. But we've discussed The Last Jedi before in a previous video. But, it's kind of stuff that... Do you want him to be superhero Luke? Everything's going great. What's the challenge? Honestly, what's the drama? Where's the story? What is there to overcome if everything is going great for everybody? It's just not realistic, and it doesn't make for interesting storytelling. It just throws action figures together. I mean, that's all you would have done. If everything was going good, rebellion is no longer, the Republic's on top, and suddenly these bad guys show up and start messing things up, and then Luke beats him down with a lightsaber with his young Jedi. What's the challenge there? There's nothing interesting about that. It's literally something I could have recreated with my action figures. And it's nobody buy tickets to that. Yeah, no, sure. Put Star Wars in front of it, people buy tickets to it. Unless it's Solo, which is a great film. But we'll get to that eventually, I'm sure. But the idea is that we just need to calm down about these things. The sequel trilogy is great fun in its own right. Not everything makes sense perfectly. Not everything went the way you wanted it to go. And no, you didn't want to see your heroes die, but guess what? They were going to go do that no matter what. Like I said, it's just the way it is. But I love all the little threads that pull back, those stories, the questions. The more things they answer, the more questions get arisen. How did Luke Skywalker's, or Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber that he lost in Cloud City along with his hand, how did it get in Maz Kanata's possession? So there's a story there. There's so many different little stories. And there's little things that people call plot holes, and they're not plot holes, they're just stories that haven't been told yet. And a lot of the times, we don't need to know Snoke's complete history right up front. I am a guy who was a clone of the Emperor that was messed up, or something. Like other crap like that. It's not necessary to all know and for this movie to move along. And in fact, one of the great things about this film is it does keep moving. It keeps going. It goes from one scene to the next and doesn't stop. There's a few moments where you get to take a breath, but they're interesting. They're conversations. Where Luke found a mentor in Obi-Wan, Rey, for a moment, finds a mentor in Han Solo, which means he has to die. So, and for people who are all worried about whether R2, 3PO, or Chewbacca were going to die, that's never going to happen. They don't need to die, because they can live on in stories eternally, because their actors can be replaced, technically. I mean, the voice of Anthony Daniels, not easily. but not easily. But they're eternal. They don't age, whereas Han, Luke, and Leia do. And that's if we would have had Episode 7 made in 1992, yeah, we might have gotten our super black outfitted Luke Skywalker with his lightsaber and cloak and everything else, and just kicking butt left and right. We would have had that, but no, we got a Luke that actually learned the way of the Jedi that even the Jedi had forgotten. But again, that's Last Jedi talk. Anyway, I enjoy this film. I love this film. So it's Star Wars, and it's an introduction for another generation to enjoy that galaxy far, far away. And for some reason, if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and watch it. Don't listen to the naysayers and the negative Nancys. It's just... It doesn't... What they have to say isn't really important except to themselves. So what I have to say isn't important except to myself, and if you choose to take it to heart, it's okay to love Star Wars, even if it's not perfect. Okay? Let's pick tomorrow's episode. Yeah.
159.
Wow, you're really loud. 159. Did we just have 159 and it didn't work? But no, we couldn't, because it can't select the same thing twice. Alright, 159 is a short. We haven't had a short in seems like months. And if it was a short, it was like a series of shorts. This is a single short, because this is tied to the movie Up. It's Doug's Special Mission. All right, let's check out Doug's Special Mission from the movie, a short from the movie Up, on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.